held an event for the solar eclipse on Monday, and a silent art auction is being held in the Stover Campus Center.
Plus, there was a shooting out in Philadelphia, and a pilot in the southwestern Pennsylvania had to make a close call during a landing. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Hello and welcome in Live at 5. I'm Meg Berry.
And I'm Logan Lepiscopo.
On Monday, Waynesburg held a watch party event for the solar eclipse seen from around the world. Joseph Cirillo has the story.
On Monday, April 8th, an eclipse party was thrown by Waynesburg to celebrate the 2024 eclipse that put Pennsylvania under full totality. SAB covered the drinks and snacks, and WCYJ-FM had the music. Luckily for us at WCTV, with the help of our technician Jaden Hawk, we were able to get some shots of the eclipse as it happened. After that, we walked around and got some answers for some important questions. So, is this your first time seeing an eclipse, or have you seen one before?
This is my second time. This is my second too.
This is my first time.
I've been in part of one, but I've never seen it like this much coverage.
I think it's my third.
As this event does not occur often, they're still fun to watch with friends and the community.
I love it. It's like all the community coming out together, and I think it's cool. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I honestly agree.
Aspect of it. Look, I got my friend right here. We're about to enjoy it. Come on. We're about to enjoy the solar eclipse. We're about to have a great time.
Well, I think it's the woo way to celebrate the eclipse, which is the best way, yes.
And although it was a bit cloudy, everyone still had a fun time. For WCTV, I'm Joe Cirillo.
We are officially under a month until summer break is here, and our very own Ethan Spazarski sat down and spoke to a few communication students about their summer plans.
As we come to the end of the school year, the school work continues on strong. Waynesburg students are coming off Easter break, which is the last break before the end of the school year. This also gives a little bit of a tease for what's to come in roughly about a month.
So for Easter break, I just spent the entire time with my family.
I went on a little sports tour.
I was able to just go home and go back to my church and everything, and that was kind of a nice just being back in the community kind of thing.
Students of all grades are ready for the summertime, and for many, that includes different things.
I'm excited for it. I'm going to miss all of the people I've been working with, and I'm going to miss a lot of the opportunities that I've been given. And especially this is probably going to be the last summer I'm going to be able to take time to relax and quote unquote still be a kid.
Summer, I'm actually really excited for summer right now. Excited, baseball season is now full in swing. As someone who works for a baseball team, I'm very excited to get started with the season.
Well, it's actually, once this end of the year happens, I actually won't be that too much on of a break per se, because I'll be doing a internship for the Washington Wild Things. So probably I will have a little bit of a break, but won't be too much.
There are a plethora of Waynesburg events remaining this year, including Biscuit Brews, Relay for Life, and a hike on Cooper's Rock. So while the end of the school year approaches and the summertime creeps closer, students will remain hard at work, ready to embrace the sun and the ability to sit back and relax. For WCTV, I'm Ethan Spazarski.
The third floor of Stover was silent yesterday and will be silent today. Logan Lepiscopo tells us what that is all about.
Waynesburg University's Stover Campus Center will host the International Justice Mission's annual art auction in Stover 302 and 303.
We have a huge variety of pieces. We have tons of jewelry, paintings, all sorts of ceramics like mugs, plates, decorations. We have some drawings, some crochet pieces, and some photographs.
The auction began on Wednesday and was hosted from 4 to 8, but it is not too late to get yourself a piece of art.
I bid on a jewelry dish that can hold my rings, so it was really cute, and then a little bowl I think I'm going to bid on later.
Today, April 11th, from 2 to 9 p.m., the auction will have its final day for bidding. Anybody is welcome, and all proceeds will go to fight human trafficking.
Put out like a little ad or a little cutout card on tables in the library, so I grabbed one, and we knew it was a good cause, and we're interested to see what kind of stuff they had. So
for WCTV News, I'm Logan Lepiscopo. 3 people were shot at a Pennsylvania gathering to celebrate the end of Ramadan on Wednesday. One of those injured is under arrest, a 15-year-old suspect who police say was holding a gun at the time. The teenager was shot in the shoulder and leg by a Philadelphia police officer at the scene. A 22-year-old and a juvenile were also wounded in the incident. About 30 gunshots were fired, according to police, and 5 people were arrested and 4 guns were confiscated by the police. At this point, investigators believe the shooting was unrelated to the Eid al-Fitr Islamic celebration.
A pilot is okay after pulling off an emergency belly landing in southwestern Pennsylvania Monday. Officials say the rear landing gear wouldn't lock in place. First responders were standing by as a pilot circled the Johnstown airport and then got the plane onto the ground.
Coming up, storms continue to hammer the southern part of the United States.
Plus, Marjorie Taylor continues to go after House Speaker Mike Johnson when we come back.
Sports information and athletic communication majors here at Waynesburg University take on the responsibilities of the pros. As a sports information athletic communication major, you'll take on tasks such as talking to coaches, public address announcing, tracking and spotting live stats, as well as running those stats to the TV and radio announcers and keeping the crowd occupied with the live video board. We have alum currently working for the Washington Wild Things, Akron Rubber Ducks, the Miami Dolphins, and numerous Division I programs. So what are you waiting for? Come here and join us at WU.
Welcome back to the newscast live at 5. Much of the southern U.S. from Texas to the East Coast is dealing with powerful, dangerous storms that now have turned deadly. Mississippi's emergency management agent is confirming that at least one storm-related death in their state Wednesday afternoon. Laura Aguirre brings us more on Wednesday's wild weather and where it's heading next.
It's not a good day to be out on the road.
Floodwaters high enough to creep into fire trucks and submerge smaller vehicles. Savage overnight storms swept over parts of Texas. A number of towns suffering damage to homes, businesses, trees, and power lines. More than 400 people have been assisting with water rescues in and around Kirbyville, say local fire officials. Even some rescuers needed rescue.
Sad to say, but we're stuck in the ditch.
Torrential rain and high winds roared east along the Gulf Coast Wednesday, triggering dangerous flash floods and spawning multiple tornadoes. Parts of Texas and Louisiana are already under more than a foot of rain, with more expected at a rate of up to 3 inches an hour through the day. Multiple injuries, none major, were reported Wednesday afternoon after a suspected tornado touched down in Slidell, Louisiana, according to parish leaders there.
The rain was all over the place. My car was shaking. Other vehicles wrecked. Power lines down. Worst case scenario that you could imagine.
The National Weather Service says wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour are possible in several areas. In Mississippi, officials are warning residents in cities like Jackson to brace for potentially intense tornadoes there as the storms move through. Forecasters predict these dangerous conditions will move across Florida's panhandle and north along the East Coast and into the D.C. and Baltimore area Thursday.
This might be the worst storm I've ever lived through.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia issued a searching indictment of House Speaker Mike Johnson's leadership in a new letter sent to her Republican colleagues. It's a significant escalation as she tries to build support for potentially ousting Johnston, who has only been serving in the role since October. CNN's Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook joins us from the Capitol with the latest.
Throughout the 2-week recess, Marjorie Taylor Greene has kept up her attacks on Johnson. Now that Congress has returned, she continues to warn the Speaker against pursuing any Ukraine aid package. The two met behind closed doors today for over an hour. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene sent a searing letter to her Republican colleagues on Tuesday, outlining her case against House Speaker Mike Johnson. She accuses Johnson of failing to deliver on promises he ran on and breaking legislative procedural rules. She also claimed she would, quote, not tolerate Johnson's push to provide more aid to Ukraine, something he had voted against before he became Speaker.
If Mike Johnson wants to lead that after he voted no against funding $300 million to Ukraine just back in September, he's going to make my case for me, and he makes it even easier for what I'm trying to do.
Her threat to bring the motion to vacate to the floor looms, but Greene refuses to outline her plan.
I'm not laying out my red lines, my triggers, a date, and a giant headline.
While a few House Republicans have voiced frustrations with Johnson, several are jumping to his defense, speaking to the complicated nature of leading with a razor-thin majority.
I think Speaker Johnson is working his guts out, doing the best he can with a lot of feral cats.
For his part, Johnson has tried to downplay the threat and is attempting to ease tensions.
Marjorie and I don't disagree, I don't think, on any matter of philosophy. We're both conservatives, but we do disagree sometimes on strategy and with regard to what we put on the floor and when.
Greene has not said how much support she has, but with upcoming resignations scheduled to give House Republicans their smallest majority yet, just a one-vote advantage, there's no margin for error. While a few Republicans have voiced frustrations with Johnson, none of them have echoed Greene's official call to remove the Speaker. Reporting in the Capitol, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he's putting his support behind Donald Trump and plans to fundraise for his president rival. DeSantis reportedly made comments to donors and supporters at an appreciated retreat over the weekend. One person who attended the retreat said DeSantis seems committed to helping Trump and they will follow his lead. The appreciation retreat was for large donors, major fundraisers, and finance committee members of the DeSantis campaign. Upon ending his bid for the White House in January, DeSantis endorsed Trump in the Republican primary, but he has not appeared with the former president at any campaign events since. It's a significant change of heart for the Florida governor who spent millions trying to dethrone Trump as the GOP nominee.
6 former Mississippi state law enforcement officials were put behind bars yesterday. The 6 former Mississippi law enforcement officers, known as the, quote, Goon Squad, received prison sentences from a state court on Wednesday. Those sentences range anywhere from 15 to 45 years. Last month, the 5 former deputies from Franklin County Sheriff's Office and 1 from the Richland Police Department received federal sentences ranging from 10 to 40 years. These punishments are connected to a January 2023 incident where the officers tortured and abused 2 black men.
Deputies in California made an arrest while responding to an investigating call on Tuesday. They were initially sent to investigate a vehicle stuck in the mud near Washoe State Park in South Lake Tahoe. When they arrived on scene, they found the driver of the car and determined he had an outstanding warrant from Nevada. Officers arrested the man on that warrant. He also was charged with driving on and damaging state property. That's going to wrap it up for national news. When we come back, Joseph Cirillo will be giving you business and entertainment update. But first, we're going to step outside with Seth Adams for your weather update.
Starting to sprinkle here on Waynesburg campus. We've seen some rain a majority of the day, but seems like some warmer weather's coming, so don't go anywhere.
Jacket Sports Weekly, where you can find everything Waynesburg University sports. Tune in every week to our panel as they take a deep dive into Waynesburg sports. We cover everything from football.
Turning around is Isaac Trout. Did he get the feet down? We will wait for the mark. And they call it a touchdown.
To basketball.
Ball. Got it! We're all tied up!
To softball.
Max this one. Left field. Kiss it goodbye!
Stay up to date with all your favorite Waynesburg University sports with us at Jacket Sports Weekly.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the newscast. I'm Joey Cirillo with your business and entertainment update. Women using the rideshare service Uber now have more options for safety. Uber say it's adding 4 new safety features to the app. There's a PIN verification, giving the riders the option to get a 4-digit code to make sure they're getting in the correct car. There's the ride check feature that lets you know if a driver goes off course, stops unexpectedly, or ends a trip early. An audio recording feature in the app can record your trip and secure the encrypted audio on your phone. It isn't accessible to the driver or Uber unless an incident is reported to Uber, then the company can access it. Riders can also share their trip with a friend or family member for an added layer of protection. All or just some of the features can be turned on automatically based on time or location, or it can be set for all trips. Uber says the safety preferences can be set up in the app or anytime, or rideshare passengers can just tap the blue safety shield while on a trip. A woman in Florida got an unwelcoming surprise visitor late last month. It was an alligator nearly 8 feet long. She called authorities and snapped some photos that went viral. Samantha Romero reports.
Well, the front screen door, it's magnetic and it was completely closed, but the gator pushed it hard enough to break the clasp. That's how the gator got inside and waltzed right into the kitchen.
5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was just sitting here on my sofa watching TV, and I heard my front door rattle.
It wasn't just any old visitor on her doorstep.
I thought somebody was just trying to get into the wrong house.
This one, almost 8 foot long, scaly, and with a tail.
Okay, so basically he just pushed on that and it just came open. From the time I first heard the door rattle to the time I came around the corner, it couldn't have been more than probably 10 or 15 seconds. He was already inside completely.
So Hollenbach's first instinct was to call 911. That's when Hollenbach says a team of 5 Sarasota County deputies and Florida Fish and Wildlife came to the rescue.
So cool, so professional. They acted like, oh, alligator in the house, no problem. They don't normally.
While the gator is gone, these pictures will last forever.
I had to have a picture of him because nobody would believe it otherwise.
Gaining her a spotlight.
And then he got stuck right here.
Across the nation.
Never in my wildest imagination would I have thought that it went, essentially viral.
It's a special welcome to Florida for Hollenbach, who's originally from Indiana. She just has some scratches.
He scratched the bottom of the cabinets.
And had to throw away her rug, but she's already learned to coexist with the wildlife in her new backyard.
Makes life in Florida a whole lot more interesting.
Reporting in Venice, Samantha Romero, NBC2.
According to Florida Fish and Wildlife, the gator was taken to an alligator farm. Tax day is less than a week away, and many Americans are getting or will soon get a refund. And the IRS is warning taxpayers to be on alert for scams. Experts say technology is making it easier for people to get tricked. Jen Sullivan has tips on how to protect yourself in today's Consumer Watch.
It's the time of year where Americans are filing their taxes and waiting for a possible refund, and scammers are seizing on an opportunity to make some money of their own. The IRS is warning taxpayers to watch out for fake letters asking recipients to provide personal information to receive an unclaimed refund. These letters even have the IRS letterhead to make them look legitimate.
When those bad actors borrow the name and the legitimacy of that government agency, we tend to trust that, and especially when you're talking about the IRS.
Eva Velasquez is the president and CEO of Identity Theft Resource Center, a nonprofit that provides resources to victims of scams. She says advancing technologies like AI is making it easier for fraudsters to target people.
They are getting much more sophisticated.
The amount of money lost to scams have gone up 14% in the last year, according to recent data from the Federal Trade Commission. 2.6 million people reported being scammed, with consumers losing more than $10 billion.
People are being lied to, and they believe those lies because of the limited amount of experience that we have.
The IRS says they'll never contact taxpayers by email, text, or through social media for a bill or tax refund. If you do get a letter in the mail, double check the phone number and make sure it matches the number on the IRS.gov website. And if you do think you've become a victim of a scam, report it to authorities, including the IRS or law enforcement or the Federal Trade Commission. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The drawn-out battle between American consumers and higher prices saw another setback last month. A key government index said price increases picked up again in March, driven up by two essential areas. Karen Kefu is in Washington with a breakdown.
U.S. consumers continue to feel the squeeze of higher prices for essentials like gas and shelter. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said Wednesday that the Consumer Price Index increased at a year-over-year rate of 3.5% in March, the reading the highest annual gain in the last 6 months.
This has definitely been a setback. This is not good news. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Fed or anyone else should give up the fight against inflation.
Overall grocery prices stayed flat month to month, but they're up 1.2% from a year ago.
I think consumers continue to feel the pinch. I think consumers continue to compare prices to sort of pre-COVID or 2 or 3 years ago.
Purdue University professor of agricultural economics Joe Balagtas says that comparison, in addition to increased costs in other areas, could shade how consumers feel about their grocery tabs.
The things that we pay for outside of the grocery store also affect the money we have left to spend on groceries, right? So if we have to spend more on gasoline, if our auto insurance becomes more expensive, if our housing becomes more expensive.
Gas prices ticked up 1.7% from February to March, and the cost of auto insurance was up 2.6% last month, up a whopping 22% from 1 year ago. In Washington, I'm Karen Kefa.
Documentaries and feature films both bring true stories to the big screen in different ways. Today's Entertainment Report features a trio of previews for such movies. Here is David Daniel with the movie Hollywood Minute.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah. Three brothers, Brian, Dennis, and Carl, a cousin, Mike Love, and our good friend El Jardine. That's family to me.
The Endless Summer returns with The Beach Boys. The documentary features never-before-seen footage and new interviews with band members and other music luminaries. It'll be fun, fun, fun when The Beach Boys debuts on Disney+.
How about that? Joe.
Where'd you learn to hit like that? How would you boys like to be the first members of the San Felipe High School golf team?
Us. Latino caddies buck the Juan Crow discrimination of the 1950s and take the course in The Long Game. Jay Hernandez and Dennis Quaid star in the golf drama based on a true story. The Long Game opens in theaters Friday.
So y'all current military or are you vets?
Army all the way. Trail name's Bacon.
I'm Army. Trail name's Peanut.
I'm a Marine. Trail name's Mini-Me. How about you?
Well, I'm Army, but I don't have a trail name yet.
Oh, don't worry. Your trail name will find you.
The Keeper tells the story of George Eshelman, who hiked the Appalachian Trail to raise awareness of military member suicides, carrying the name tapes of 363 service members who died by suicide. The film follows George as he tries to complete his mission and keep steps ahead of his own dangerous depression. The Keeper opens in theaters May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
On May 24th, The Beach Boys debuts on Disney+, and The Keeper will open in theaters. And The Long Game opens in theaters on Friday. That's going to do it all for your business and entertainment update. I'm Joey Shirillo. Up next is Haley Ryan with your sports.
This is So Spice.
Cornucopia.
Brian instead of train.
I love this show.
Welcome back to the newscast. I'm Haley Ryan with your sports update. Waynesburg baseball beat Franciscan yesterday 10-4 in Game 1 and 7-3 in Game 2. The baseball team is now 17-10 on the season and 10-1 in conference play. The next game for the men is Saturday when they host Washington and Jefferson for a doubleheader with a 1 p.m. first pitch for Game 1. As for softball, The women are coming off of 2 losses in a doubleheader to Washington and Jefferson Tuesday, with a 3-2 loss in the first game and a 4-3 loss in Game 2. The softball team is now 14-7 on the season and play next on Saturday for a doubleheader at Geneva. The men and women's outdoor track and field teams travel to New Wilmington, PA for the Westminster Invitational. And finally, for lacrosse, they will travel to Bethany for a 4 p.m. match. The team is coming off a 22-1 loss to Grove City and now sit at 1-10 on the season. For Pitt Panthers sports, the baseball team hosts Duke for a triple-header over the course of the weekend, beginning tomorrow for an ACC matchup. They are currently 13-16 overall and 3-12 in the conference. For Panthers softball, the women host North Carolina for the course of the weekend for an ACC matchup. The team currently sits at 12-25 and 3-12 in the conference. West Virginia baseball hosts UCF tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. They are currently 19-12 and 8-4 in the conference. For Pittsburgh professional sports, the Penguins have a big game tonight at 7 p.m. when they host the Detroit Red Wings. The Penguins are currently 36-30 with 84 points and are 1 point out of a playoff spot, but every game matters as it changes day to day. With a win tonight, the Penguins can jump into the second wildcard spot above Washington. The Pirates had an off day yesterday, but they are in Philadelphia to open up a 4-game series tonight against the Phillies. The Pirates are currently 9-3 and are first in the NL Central with Jared Jones on the mound tonight. First pitch is 6:40 p.m. That is going to do it for your sports. Coming up next is Seth Adams with the weather.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Michael McKenzie, and welcome back to Plead Your Case.
Plead Your Case, Waynesburg University's only national sports debate show.
You see what it said? This is 83 and 104.
If you're a sports fan, this is the show for you. Each week, we cover the most relevant news and hear arguments from all angles.
Tom Brady recently went on the air and said, I believe there's a lot of mediocrity in today's NFL.
There's all the hot takes you could ask for.
Mike Tomlin is the most mediocre head coach of all time.
And fiery back and forths.
No, listen, Bowtie.
It's like Foursquare. Have you ever played Foursquare? No, you were too old to play Foursquare.
So whether it's on camera or behind the scenes, sit back, relax.
It's time to plead your case.
Hello, I'm Seth Adams, and here is your weekly weather update. Well, currently we have a severe weather watch, so if you're going anywhere, please be careful, and we have seen some crazy rain today, but that warmer weather has finally arrived, and we reached a high of 70 today with those showers, like I said earlier, and we will drop to 58 degrees tonight. Now, that 58 degrees will be the high of tomorrow, and it will be a chilly and rainy day, and it will reach a low of 45 in the early morning. On Saturday, we will reach a high of 60 in the evening with some sunny skies and have another chilly morning with a low of 41 degrees. Sunday will be a beautiful day with a high of 73 and partly cloudy skies and a low of 43. Monday will continue being beautiful with a high of 77. Isn't it crazy how just last week it was miserable? And cloudy skies reaching a low of 56. Tuesday will be similar with a high of 76 with an overcast and reach a low of 57. And finally on Wednesday, we will reach a high of 75 and low of 59 with some clouds. I mean, that's just some beautiful golf weather. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty great to me. Back over to the desk.
Thank you very much, Seth. And that is going to wrap up this newscast. It is my final newscast as a Waynesburg University student. So I want to thank everybody in the room that was talent with me today and has been all year. And of course, our producer, Ethan Spazarski. He's done an excellent job all school year. And Michael McKenzie taking over next year. I know he's going to do just as well of a job. So that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you in 2 weeks from now as we've got a Woosen doubleheader for softball next Thursday. So catch us in just a couple weeks right here, live at 5.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.